There is a quiet frustration that many people carry. It doesn't show on the surface. It doesn't always come with panic or drama. It's the feeling of trying and still falling short. You work, you plan, you promise yourself to be more disciplined. Yet somehow, at the end of the month, there is little left. And over time, a dangerous thought begins to grow. Maybe I'm just bad with money. Stoicism invites us to pause before accepting that belief, because often the problem is not a lack of effort. It's not even a lack of intelligence. It's the way pressure quietly reshapes our decisions. Saving money feels impossible, not because you don't care, but because caring too much without calm creates tension. And tension makes us reactive. The Stoics understood something that still applies today. When the mind is unsettled, nothing stays where it should. Not your emotions, not your attention, and certainly not your money. Most people think saving is a technical problem. They look for formulas, apps, systems, percentages. But Marcus Aurelius would have asked a different question. What kind of person are you becoming under pressure? Because money does not simply disappear, it flows toward what you fear losing. When life feels uncertain, money becomes emotional insulation, a way to soothe anxiety, a way to feel momentarily in control. And so you spend not out of desire, but out of exhaustion. Not because you are careless, but because your mind is tired. Stoicism never blamed the human impulse, it studied it. Epictetus reminded his students that we are disturbed not by events, but by our judgments about them. The same is true with money. It's not the expense itself that hurts you. It's the belief that this purchase will protect you from something you haven't named. Loneliness, fear of falling behind, fear of being left out, fear of not being enough. When these fears go unexamined, saving money feels like deprivation, like punishment, and the mind resists punishment. This is why advice like "just be disciplined" often fails. Discipline without understanding becomes force, and force never lasts. The Stoic path begins elsewhere. It begins with clarity, with the ability to sit quietly and say, "This is what I'm actually afraid of." Because once fear is seen clearly, it loses its grip. Saving then stops being an act of denial and becomes an act of self-respect. But we are not there yet. Before we can talk about discipline, we must talk about pressure. Modern life applies constant pressure without giving us space to release it. You are expected to progress, compare, improve, consume, and keep up all at the same time. Under this weight, saving money feels like asking a drowning person to hold on to a stone. The Stoics would never demand that. They would first ask you to breathe, to separate what is in your control from what is not. You cannot control the economy. You cannot control prices rising. You cannot control unexpected demands. But you can control how much chaos you allow into your mind. And the mind is where saving truly begins. Before money can stay in your account, calm must stay in your thoughts. Without calm, every plan collapses. Without calm, money becomes a temporary escape instead of a long-term tool. This is why many people try repeatedly and fail repeatedly, not because they lack willpower, but because they are trying to build stability on top of unrest. Stoicism teaches us to reverse that order. Stability of mind first, stability of money follows. And this shift, though subtle, changes everything.
One of the hardest truths to accept is that effort alone does not guarantee results. This is uncomfortable, especially for those who are genuinely trying. You show up, You say no more often than before, you attempt to be responsible, and still the outcome disappoints you. Stoicism does not deny this frustration, it reframes it. Because effort without direction is simply motion, and motion can be exhausting without being effective. Many people unknowingly fight money instead of understanding it. They treat saving as a battle of restraint, a constant internal argument. One voice says, "You deserve this." Another says, "You should be better." And living between those voices creates fatigue. Fatigue weakens judgment. This is why emotional spending rarely feels emotional in the moment. It feels logical. It feels justified. It feels necessary. Only later does regret appear. The Stoics understood that humans do not act based on logic alone. We act based on what feels safe. When safety feels threatened, reason steps aside. This is why people spend money during periods of stress, loneliness, or uncertainty, not because they are irresponsible, but because their nervous system is seeking relief. Stoicism invites us to stop shaming this behavior and start observing it. Instead of saying, "Why am I like this?" the Stoic asks, "What am I responding to?" This single question transforms the relationship with money, because once you see spending as a response, not a flaw, you regain agency. You begin to notice patterns. You spend more when you feel behind. You spend more when you feel invisible. You spend more when you feel overwhelmed. Saving fails not because the goal is wrong, but because the emotional environment is hostile to it. The Stoics believed that self-control was not about suppression, but about alignment. When your values are unclear, every decision becomes a negotiation, and constant negotiation drains you. This is why budgeting often collapses, not because the math is wrong, but because the inner agreement is missing. You are asking yourself to sacrifice without understanding what you are protecting. To the Stoic, saving money is not about the future, it is about the present. It is about reducing mental noise, because every unexamined impulse adds another weight to the mind, and a heavy mind leaks resources, money included. Epictetus taught that freedom is not having what you want, but wanting what you already have. Applied to money, this means learning to feel safe without constant reassurance, not by forcing minimalism, but by understanding sufficiency. Most people never ask themselves what enough actually means, so the finish line keeps moving, and saving feels impossible because there is no stable target. The Stoics encourage defining enough before defining more. This clarity removes pressure, and pressure is the enemy of consistency. Without pressure, saving stops being a heroic act. It becomes a quiet habit, small, unremarkable, repeatable. The Stoics favored repeatability over intensity. They understood that extreme effort cannot be sustained, but calm routines can, and calm routines build resilience where force never could. If saving feels impossible, it may not be because you lack discipline. It may be because you are trying to change behavior without changing the conditions that shape it. Stoicism asks you to fix the conditions first, the mind, the expectations, the story you tell yourself about money. Only then does effort begin to compound.
There is another force that quietly drains money, even from disciplined people. Comparison. Not the obvious kind, but the subtle, constant measuring that happens in silence. You see where others are, what they own, how fast they seem to move forward, and without realizing it, your sense of timing becomes distorted. You begin to feel late. Late to success, late to stability, late to the life you thought you should already have. This feeling is dangerous, because when the mind believes it is behind, it rushes, and rushed decisions rarely protect the future. The Stoics warned against this long before social media existed. Seneca wrote that we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Comparison lives entirely in imagination. It creates urgency where none is required and dissatisfaction where none was necessary. Under comparison, money stops being a resource and becomes a symbol of worth, of progress, of legitimacy. When money becomes symbolic, saving feels like falling further behind. Spending feels like catching up. This is not weakness, it is conditioning. Modern culture teaches you to perform stability before you actually have it, to look settled before you feel secure. The Stoics rejected this performance. They valued inner alignment over external display, because they understood that identity instability leads to financial instability. When you don't know who you are, money tries to answer the question for you. It fills gaps in confidence. It masks uncertainty. It buys temporary belonging. But temporary belonging is expensive, and it never lasts. This is why saving feels impossible even when income improves, because the leak is not at the level of numbers, it is at the level of identity. Epictetus taught that we must separate what belongs to us from what does not. Your worth does not belong to the market. Your dignity does not belong to comparison. Your peace does not belong to appearances. Until this separation is made, money will continue to be spent defending an image, and images are never satisfied. Another overlooked force is fear of the future. Many people assume fear makes us cautious. Often, it does the opposite. Fear makes us short-term thinkers. When the future feels unreliable, the present becomes urgent, and urgency consumes savings. The Stoics trained themselves to rehearse loss mentally, not to become pessimistic, but to become resilient. By accepting that uncertainty is unavoidable, they reduced the need to ensure themselves emotionally through spending. Saving becomes easier when you accept that no amount of money can fully eliminate uncertainty. Once you accept this, you stop asking money to do the impossible. You stop expecting it to provide certainty, status, and comfort all at once. Instead, you allow it to have one role: supporting a stable life. Nothing more, nothing symbolic, nothing dramatic. Just support. This simplicity is powerful because it removes emotional inflation, and inflated emotions inflate expenses. Stoicism does not teach detachment from life, but detachment from illusions. The illusion that you must keep up. The illusion that security can be purchased instantly. The illusion that rest must be earned through spending. When these illusions fade, saving stops feeling like resistance. It becomes alignment. And alignment requires far less effort than constant self-control. At some point, trying harder stops helping. This is usually when people give up. But the Stoics would say, this is where understanding must replace effort, because force has limits. Clarity does not. Rebuilding a calm relationship with money does not begin with numbers. It begins with permission. Permission to move slowly. Permission to be imperfect. Permission to stop performing financial confidence. Stoicism never demanded dramatic change. It favored quiet correction, small shifts repeated without tension. This is why Stoic saving looks unremarkable. No strict punishments, no extreme rules, no guilt-driven restrictions, only awareness. You begin by noticing which expenses are actually emotional obligations, not desires, obligations. The need to appear capable, the need to reward yourself for surviving the week, the need to silence anxiety just for a moment. Once seen clearly, these expenses lose their authority, not because you forbid them, but because you no longer mistake them for necessities. The Stoics believed that freedom comes from reducing false needs. Every false need removed is money that stays without effort. This is why saving should never feel heroic. If it does, it will not last. Instead of asking, "How much should I save?" the Stoic asks, "What can I simplify without harming my peace?" The answer is usually not painful. It is quiet. One less reassurance, one less symbolic purchase, one less reaction to stress. These are not sacrifices, they are releases. Another Stoic principle applies here: voluntary discomfort. Not deprivation, but familiarity. Occasionally choosing not to upgrade, not to replace, not to indulge. Not to punish yourself, but to remind the mind that comfort is not fragile. This practice builds confidence that no purchase ever could. When you know you can be okay without spending, saving stops feeling like loss. It feels like strength. The Stoics also understood timing. They knew that consistency matters more than intensity. A small amount saved regularly creates less resistance than a large amount saved sporadically, because the mind adapts to what feels normal. Make saving normal, not impressive, automatic if possible, uncelebrated, quiet. Let it be boring. Boredom is stability, and stability is what money needs to stay. The moment saving becomes emotional, it becomes fragile. So the Stoic keeps emotion out of it. No pride, no shame, no drama, just repetition. Over time, something shifts. You stop seeing saving as preparation for disaster and start seeing it as maintenance of calm. You are not building a fortress, you are clearing mental space. This is why the Stoics tied wealth to tranquility, not accumulation. Enough was not a number, enough was peace, and peace cannot coexist with constant financial tension. The more gently you approach saving, the more likely it is to stay. Force creates rebellion, calm creates habit, and habit is stronger than motivation. In the end, saving money is not a test of strength. It is a reflection of your relationship with uncertainty. Those who feel calm around uncertainty rarely struggle to save. Those who feel threatened by it often do. Stoicism never promised a life without problems. It offered something more honest, the ability to remain steady while problems exist. You may not be where you want to be financially. Your income may not be ideal. Your situation may still feel fragile. But Stoicism reminds us that peace does not wait for perfect conditions. It is built inside imperfect ones. When you stop seeing saving as a restriction and begin seeing it as an act of self-respect, everything changes. You no longer save because you fear being poor. You save because you value mental space. You stop asking, "How much can I force myself to put away?" and begin asking, "How can I live without constantly feeling threatened?" That question reshapes behavior without pressure. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the soul becomes dyed by the color of its thoughts. If your thoughts about money are constantly anxious, money will always feel unstable. But when your thoughts grow calmer, money follows, not instantly, not dramatically, but steadily. You begin to notice that you no longer reach for spending to regulate emotion. You pause more often. You choose more deliberately. And in that pause, saving becomes natural. Stoicism teaches that the greatest wealth is not abundance, but independence. The ability to remain okay without constant reassurance, without constant consumption, without constant comparison. This independence cannot be bought, but it can be practiced, and saving, small, quiet, consistent, is one of its expressions. If today's saving still feels heavy, remember this: you are not failing. You are learning to see what has been driving your behavior, and awareness always comes before change. You don't need to fix everything at once. The Stoics never asked for that. They asked only for progress without self-contempt. Calm over control, clarity over force, consistency over intensity. When you choose these, saving no longer feels impossible. It becomes a byproduct of a steadier mind and a steadier life.